Hello and welcome to the new series of Drishti IAS. I am Pooja and today we are going to discuss about the very debated topic about the Gyan Vapi Mosque. The dispute, what is it? What do we want to know from the perspective of this examination? We will not go into the political overtones, but the very basic information. And what do we have to know from the perspective of the examination? That is all we are going to discuss. So if you're looking for political biasness, this is not a place. Let's talk about from these topics. Let's start with the news. The news is saying that Kashi Vishwanath-Gyanvapi complex court-ordered survey begins. The survey was, although it was stopped when it was started after a few hours, because the advocates who were representing the mosque said that the court, the person who was suggested by the court to do the survey of that place was being biased. Although certain evidence of Hindu symbols were, of course, garnered from there, and this has actually made this entire issue more complex. So as we all know that Gyan Vapi Mosque is present in Uttar Pradesh, in the city of Banaras, very close to the Kashi Vishwanath temple. And the entire issue has, of course, given fire to communal tensions that are already garnering a lot of attention from the international media. So this is something that we want to know. We will not go into the political technicalities that I told you, but this particular heritage that we have right now, it was said that it was demolished, allegedly demolished by Aurangzeb, and after that, on the ruins of the temple, the mosque was there. And many evidence has come in support of this allegation, but it is not our place to comment on anything like this because we were not present. What do we have to know from the perspective of bureaucracy? What are the acts that are related to such incidents? Because see, building mosques or building churches or building any sort of symbolism of religion in that era was not actually extremely communal. It was showing the victory. It was a sign to show the victory of the rulers. Okay, so we will, of course, try to remain as neutral as possible. That is what you will do when you will become a bureaucrat. You will not be biased towards any majority or minority group, taking the stand from a very neutral space, and it is very liberating, trust me. Moving on, if we talk about the background, see, if we talk about last year itself, Varanasi court ordered the Archaeological Survey of India, okay, to have a survey of Gyan Vapi Mosque, which is adjacent to the Kashi Vishwanath temple, because the ruins of the temple, as alleged in the petition, is still present. Okay, that is why this holds a very important place in the Hindu community if we talk about temples, and not only in Ayodhya but also in Mathura and Kashi. Okay, and then what happened, that Gyan Vapi Mosque title dispute happened and Allahabad High Court stayed the lower court's order about the proceedings. That was also a part of it. Then what happened, that now a local court's orders with respect to surveying of that area has been accepted, in the sense that survey is going on right now. Although survey is it is overburdened with communal tensions. So how old is the dispute? Let's go through that. In 1984, there were 558 Hindu seers from all over India. They had congregated into the heart of Delhi and talked about building back their lost heritage of symbolism in Ayodhya, Kashi and Mathura. So after that, we saw the incidents of Babri Masjid. After that, we saw that slogans were also getting a lot of popularity about these particular places. So that was something which was very, very dangerous, not only for these places but the entire country. Okay, and that was the first religious parliament. Now P.V. Narasimha Rao, when he saw that this particular issue is getting a lot of support with respect to the majority community, and it might inflict a lot of injuries onto the social fabric of the country, he came up with an act, Places of Worship Special Provisions Act in 1991. Okay, this act, what did it say? That whatever monuments were there till 15th of August in whatever state, they may have been built over a temple, they may have been built over some other ruins, they will stay the same. Okay, but that was not applicable according to the Supreme Court in the later years in the case of Ayodhya. We will know about that as well. As part of the work on the corridor, a contractor in 2019 demolished a platform or chabutra at the gate number 4 of the Gyan Vapi Mosque. That became a huge deal and lot of tensions started to arise. Although the Muslim community did say that they were not against the expansion of the corridor, but they did say that because their shops and their sacred places are getting into the way of that, that was something they were not happy with. Okay, and then what happened? The 1991 petition, which was given to the judiciary by the advocate, it was on behalf of Swayambhu Jyotirling Bhagwan Vishweshwar. Okay, so it was said that this ling, Vishweshwar ling, was present on the ruins of the Gyan Vapi Mosque. Then a temple was constructed, he said in his petition, a temple was constructed by Maharaja Vikramaditya about 2050 years ago at this spot. It was later on, this is all according to the petition, okay, and it was demolished by the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb in 1669. And places of worship Provisions Act was not applicable in this case, okay. It was said by the petitioner that the Places of Worship Act was not applicable because, why did he say that? Because it did not talk about those places that were built on the ruins of temple. He said that in his petition. And the Anjuman Intizamiya Masjid community moved to the Allahabad High Court dispute and they could not be adjudicated upon by the civil court. They said that this particular issue was not anything that a local court can adjudicate upon. It should be referred to a higher court. Okay, that was in 1997. Remember that. Okay, and then they also cited the section 4 of the Places of Worship Act. Under this only they said that we cannot let a local court to talk about this instance. Why? Because section 4 of the Places of Worship Act does not allow to do so. The High Court responded by staying the proceedings in the lower court, and then the matter remained pending for 22 years. Good 22 years. All right, moving on. Now in 1997, what happened? Preliminary issues where the main contention was if the issue was barred by the section 4 of the act or not. What in 1997 happened? Now people stopped talking about if it was a temple or if it was a mosque from the very beginning. They started saying that, oh, let's see that section 4 holds water or not. That was another thing. The law states, if we talk about the law, that Protection of Monuments Act, the law states that a religious character of a place of worship shall continue as it stands on 15th August 1947, part 2nd of the section 4 of the act. Okay, and this section says that if on the commencement of this act any suit, appeal or other proceedings with respect to the conversion of the religious character of any place of worship existing on the 15th day of August 1947 is pending before any court, tribunal or other authority, the same shall abate, and no suit, appeal or other proceedings with respect to any such matter shall lie on or after such commencement in any court, tribunal or authority. Simply put, it is saying that whatever religious places have been there in whatever form, doesn't matter if their religious character was changed, and they stood so on the 15th of August 1947, that is the day of independence, no suit will challenge that petition. But it was of course not holding any water in the case of Ayodhya. Okay, so why this particular law was brought? You will just think about it. In medieval times, as a symbol of victory, certain communities did try to build their own symbol of authority in the form of mosque or whatever. And if we try to reverse all of them, how many places, how many monuments will come into the radar? That is why it was very important. Then in December 2019, V.S. Rastogi, he filed a plea seeking an archaeological survey of the Gyan Vapi Mosque complex again, after the case of Ayodhya was resolved. And the Varanasi court ordered the Archaeological Survey of India to conduct a survey of the mosque on 8 April 2021. And the Sunni Waqf board challenged this particular order. So it will have a long way to go. Then another thing that was kept in mind by the court with respect to through the survey, what shall happen, what is allowed to happen, what is not allowed to happen. This is what the court said. During the survey, artifacts, whatever have been recovered, they must be properly preserved. Okay. Then while conducting the survey, the committee must ensure that Muslims are not prevented from offering namaz at the disputed site. So they cannot say that we are conducting survey, you are not allowed to offer your namaz there, because they have been doing so since so many years. We cannot expect them to do so. Also, until and unless the court has its own rulings, we cannot prevent any particular community to not have their profession or propagation of religious practice. But the court also added that if the same is not practical due to survey work, of course, if there is some problem with respect to survey, if there has been barricading or the artifacts need to be properly preserved there, then the committee shall provide Muslims an alternative, so they can pray there, suitable places to offer namaz at any other place within the, now one more catch, within the precincts of the mosque. So they cannot have, suppose this is the mosque, okay, and this is the place where the Muslims offered namaz, but now they cannot have their namaz over here. Why? Because artifacts are preserved, if the case is that. So they shouldn't be told to go somewhere else. They should be sending their or saying their namaz either here, whatever alternative can be provided. Okay. The panel, the court said, is expected to be aware of the sensitivity of the matters, of course, and must ensure that both Hindus and Muslims are equally respected. And after the survey is complete, the committee's report should be submitted in a sealed cover without undue delay, because this is a matter that can have a lot of issue. The Ayodhya case, if I told you the Preservation of Monuments Act did not hold water here, why? It was said provisions will not apply to ancient and historical monuments and archaeological sites and remains that are covered by the Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites and Remains Act of 1958. This was the thing that came in the way for Ayodhya. Okay, that is why Ayodhya was preserved from the act. Pandora box of such disputes, if this is something that is going to be entertained for a long period of time. Today itself, I read a news on the Hindustan Times. It was said in a petition to the High Court that try to bring out the Hindu idols from Taj Mahal. So if we open the doors of Taj Mahal, we will find so many Hindu monuments there. Like, it will open a Pandora box for such petitions, and it will of course be having a lot of potential to strike on the social fabric of the country. Okay. Then, as I told you, this is the particular issue I was talking about. Okay. Communal tensions will rise, that is for sure, if it is not handled very sensitively. Then what is the importance of Ancient Monuments Preservation Act is the question for today. In 150 words you have to write. Okay. So I try to be as neutral as possible, because that is our job, to give you proper view. We do not take sides. That's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, stay updated. Thank you so much for watching.